Hello everyone and welcome back to Kirby's Adventure. Level 6, Orange Ocean. So let me take a moment to explain exactly what happened since the last episode. Okay, we've had to create a brand new save file so that we can play the boss of this area. Because I recorded, as you do, the entire section of Orange Ocean, like I've been doing so far with each and every episode of Kirby, only to encounter a computer virus that required a new installation of my OS. Thus, we lost all the footage that I've recorded, and once you beat a boss, you cannot fight them again. So, in order to record me fighting the boss of this world, I had to play the entire game all over again last night, and I did it in one sitting, and I wasn't happy about it. It's nothing against the game, it's just I felt a little sick, I'm a little under the weather. You know, I really didn't feel like sitting through an entire game, but here we are. The good thing is I was able to recover and get back up and running within a day. Well, 2 days, really, if you want to get technical about it. But here we are. So we are definitely going for 100% completion on this save file, or on our main save file, not this save file. So I went into every door, we hit every switch, so there's no need to really do that here. So what we're going to do is kind of just cut through the stages themselves so that you can see what each stage is comprised of. Ooh. How fortunate for us we had the stone ability. And I mean, it's not ideal, you know, having to go through all this, but you know what? I'm doing it. Oh. Yeah, I haven't hit all the switches on our secondary save here. Because again, there's really no need to. Ow! You punk! Get out of here. Cut that out. Sorry, little sweepy man. This sounded like I said sleepy man. Sweepy man. Uh-oh. No, it's not what I meant to have happen, and you know it. Ooh, that worked out. You turd. And you hit me? I hate those stupid little monkeys. Sound like Frieza. Stupid Saiyan monkey. Now, can we talk about Dragon Ball Z? Actually, can we talk about Dragon Ball in general? Like, I watched it back in the day. I watched all of Dragon Ball, all of Z, all of GT. I watched all the movies, or at least most of the movies. But then, I just got out of watching that kind of stuff altogether. I quit watching television, which means no Toonami, no Cartoon Network. And I left all that behind, only for Dragon Ball to become huge again. Like, they brought it back with Kai. Which I guess you could say is like a director's cut. It's a shortening of the series, telling the most important plot points. Then you have Super, which is supposed to all take place before GT. And I just can't get into it, you know? It's the way I feel about some of the game IPs. Like, I have a hard time getting into modern Sonic games. Because, you know, I'm so accustomed to classic Sonic. And I just had this conversation actually with a friend of mine yesterday or the day before yesterday, and we were talking about just how many classic game series. Ow! Punk! How many classic game series that I'm familiar with but haven't actually played every title to. And this came up because we were discussing the DLC for Zelda Breath of the Wild. A game I'm not particularly fond of. For various reasons. And I keep telling all my friends, hey, I don't really particularly care for this game. They're like, what? How dare you? It keeps winning awards. Everybody keeps raving about it. Ow. But I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Okay. Little backstory here. Fire Breath guy, that's a mislead. You need the laser guy to hit this corner, light this, and you're on your way. It should be obvious. You should see it and say, okay, there's a little panel there for you to reflect the laser off of. Nope. My dumb town never could figure it out. I spent a long time until I finally had to break down and Google it of how to do that part. But, you know, back to what I was saying, it's the same for Kirby and Metroid and a lot of others. I never finished Mario Brothers 2. I've never finished Mario Brothers 3. And it wasn't until I was an adult that I finished Mario 1. Then with Kirby here, you know, Kirby first appeared on the Game Boy. Never played that title before. I didn't play the Super Nintendo Kirby. I didn't play Kirby 64. I went straight from this to the Wii titles, excluding him being in Smash. Then with Metroid, I went from the NES Metroid straight to Metroid Prime, so... And what was... Oh, Zelda. Yeah, I didn't play the original Zelda. My first Zelda was Ocarina of Time, and then Majora's Mask, and so on in that order. I didn't play Skyward Sword. I wasn't able to finish Twilight Princess because I encountered a game-breaking glitch, and at the time, Nintendo's way of fixing it was, well, you know, mail us your SD card that has the save on it, we'll patch it and send it back. I'm not going to go through all that trouble. I mean, I was closer to the end of the game, so it was a little disappointing. But, oh well, it just comes from Nintendo not, you know, getting on board like they should have. I know Nintendo does its own thing, and I've always applauded that, but at the same time, you know, Microsoft and Sony had fully integrated their consoles for internet use, and patching broken games or bugged games was something they could do with ease, while Nintendo's still playing around in the dark ages here. So, yeah. But I think a lot of my disdain for Breath of the Wild is the fact that it, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of criticism for this, but I can't stop yawning today. It's worse than it's ever been. I did not sleep well. Come back here. But Breath of the Wild to me just seems like Zelda Sandbox for the sake of being Zelda Sandbox. I've watched several Let's Players on YouTube play it. I've seen people stream it on Twitch. I watched a friend of mine play through the whole story. And to me, it just seems like they took a huge open expanse, painted it with a Zelda paint job, threw a whole lot of Zelda references, items, and enemies in there, and just cut you loose. It just doesn't seem like there's much heart and soul to it. then my friend was like, well, you know, he argued about the stories in the other Zeldas and the Nintendo-isms that follow. Like, Nintendo's real bad about copying and copy-pasting a lot of their IP. Uh-oh. And it's true. I don't know why I did that. Pokemon's been the same game pretty much over and over again for 20 years. Not much changes to the core gameplay, not much changes for the franchise other than just adding new Pokemon themselves to the lineup, which in the first 3, possibly 4, you could say, generations, Game Freak was good about trying not to repeat the same Pokemon. But then, like, during the Black and White era, they just stopped caring. They said, make whatever Pokemon you want. Okay, now with this puzzle, what you do is you light that, and as quickly as you can, you book it to the cannon, which, again, we're not going to deal with because we've already done it on our main save. But no, I'm buying a Switch in a week or two when I get all my previous financial goings-ons taken care of. Because I'm now having to strictly budget everything because I'm starting the YouTube game so late I can't make a career out of it. So I'm still just as broke and poor as everyone else. Whee! Alright. So you'll come down here, go through that door, there's your secret switch for this area. And the way that I go about breaking the ice is I always go through this door, grab the UFO, then come back. Ooh. I hate the way they just slam into you. It wipes you out too, aliens. Just go. Go, man. Go. They're gonna keep doing it. They're just gonna keep crashing into you. Uh-oh. Yep. Thought we could avoid that, but nope. Oh, we got one of them. Okay, you're gonna bounce back. I don't want your ability. Go in the door! It's kind of handy. Stop. Turkey. Alright, here's exactly where that's going to stop being useful, so we're going to ditch that. Ooh. Ah. Ooh, we almost took a hit to the head. Oh, I don't want to get hit. Did we do it? Sweet. We did it. We were successful. Oh, stop with the yawns. We need health. Do it. Dough. Now we can exit. I just thought that would be a lot easier than trying to go into this thing with one health. Get it! Yeah! Meta Knight! What's up, Meta Knight? This was an extremely hard boss fight for me when I was a kid. I still have no idea exactly how you're supposed to do this. I usually end up just taking a lot of hits and trying to just hit him more. But I know there's a pattern, a method to the madness. I just don't know what it is. I say all that, we're not doing too bad here. Wow. Where you going? Where you going, little feller? And see, I've always been confused. Is that Meta Knight or Nightmare?